Hey, babe.
Given that's how we live it, don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians and choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I love you. God loves you best. Welcome back to Ronnie P TV. I am yours truly, Ronnie P. And if this is your first time joining me, welcome, and thank you so much for tuning in. Today, or tonight, I will be reviewing Marriage at First Sight, Season 10, episodes 1 through 3. Yes, I am behind, I'm late, I apologize, but that's what happens when you have surgery and you have to recover and recuperate. But I'm here nevertheless. Yay! Okay, so I'm going to make this a quickie because episode 4 comes on tonight. Whew. Okay, so let's start with the couples. We have Derek and Katie. Derek, I put him as the dreamer. He's never been in love. He's a hopeless romantic. And his occupation, he's in cybersecurity. And Katie is Miss Ready right now. She is a type 1 diabetic, and because of her illness, she wants to have kids as soon as possible. Did I mention she was 25? He's 26. She's 25, and she's a therapist. That's her occupation. But Katie has a little skeleton in her closet. She has an ex that's lingering in the background, but we'll talk about that a little later. Then we have Brandon and Taylor. Brandon is a beer salesman, and he considers himself never a +1, but he said something in his voiceover about him always going to gatherings and stuff alone. He always goes by himself. So technically that does make you a +1. Leave your comments below and tell me what you think about that. Okay, and then we have Taylor, who's 27. Oh, let me go back to Brandon. Brandon is a preacher's kid, but he doesn't attend church. I'm looking at my notes just so. He doesn't attend church, and he has been the product of an absent father since the age of 13. And yeah, that's his deal right now. Taylor, 27, she's Miss Beauty and Brains, and she's a research tech for Johns Hopkins. She's a hustler. Like, she has 3 jobs. She does Uber and Lyft, and then she's also a brand ambassador for a liquor. I don't know if it's a bourbon, a whiskey, a cognac, but it's a brown. And then that's the deal with them. Then we have Mindy and Zach. Mindy's 34. Zach is 32. Mindy is Miss Optimistic. She is a figure skating coach, and she has a serious backstory. She had a sister who passed away of a drug overdose, and right at the time when that happened, she also found out that she was pregnant, and then unfortunately later on, sometime in her pregnancy, she had a miscarriage. Then we have Zach, who she was paired with, and he is a fitness fanatic. I call him a personal trainer / influencer, and he is very into self and his hair. And I put down some things on him based on what his mother said. His mother said that he has stability issues, and he, in his flight mechanism in him, automatically signals him to flight, not fight. Then we have Mika and Michael. Michael is 31. Mika is 25. Michael is Mr. Married First. that was interesting to me because I've heard of people being the first in their family to go to college, first in the family to graduate from high school, but the first in your family to get married. Interesting. Okay. He is adopted into his family. His mother passed away when he was an infant. She passed away of an illness. I think it was cancer, if I'm not mistaken. And so his aunt raised him from 9 months old. And so he calls her mom and his cousin his sister, befittingly so. Also, correction, his mom passed away when he was 3 years old, but the mom gave to the aunt when I think he was about 9 months, if I'm not mistaken. And Miss Mika, she is Miss Ambition. She is a analyst. I don't know if it's a control analyst, a data analyst, but it's an analyst. She works at a grocery store, or she works for a grocery store, but she's the analyst for the store. And she's been a sibling parent. And basically, a sibling parent is, I'm guessing that she was the eldest, and as a result of that, she had to step into roles that involved her being a pseudo parent to her siblings. And her mother even affirmed that at times that Mika had to step in and be somewhat of a parent to her mom. So that's interesting. She's very goal oriented. She speaks often about wanting to be a CEO of a company. She often focuses on where she's going in her life and being progressive. And I think that's awesome, especially with her being so young. Pardon me, my phone is just... both of them have a very, very specific characteristic that they share. Neither of them have strong male role models in their life, and I think that is very impactful on how that might affect their relationship, because Mika hasn't had a strong role model as a male in her life to be the forefront as basically a father figure. So she never got that, what an example is of how a man should treat you, what are the duties and roles of, setting an expectation, a standard of what you will and will not accept. Even though I see her as a very grounded, assertive, and level-headed person to a degree, because we'll talk about that in a minute. Michael, on the other hand, as a result of him not having that strong role model male figure, he may be deficient in getting the lessons of what it is to be a man, and especially being that he would be the first in his family to get married. He's never really had a true picture of what marriage really encompasses in his family. So he doesn't have a blueprint or a foundation to go by of what you want to do or what you don't want to do as far as it pertains to marriage. And then lastly, we have Jessica and Austin. Austin is 31, Jessica's 31. Austin is the mama's boy, and I thought he was very nice. Might be a little too giving, but maybe too early to tell. And Jessica is known as the keeper. This is how I feel about that. If you were such a keeper, why are you on this show? But I digress. She's also an identical twin. And they seem very enmeshed. Even though the sister is already married, they still seem very conjoined to a certain degree. They're identical twins, but they seem a little conjoined, if you know what I mean. Her occupation, she's a patient care manager. I forgot what Austin did, but his job, he did change his job a little bit because he traveled often. And one thing about Austin, he gave the impression that, well, he gave a very good impression of that his mother's approval has a great impact on his decisions, and I think more so specifically when it comes to relationships. If you see my eyes shifting, that's because I don't know where I'm looking, but I'm going to look right here. Okay, so I went through 3 episodes to try and condense this information really fast. I watched them twice and I was like, oh, it was exhausting. So let's talk about the weddings, or I should say the ceremonies, because it looks like they had at least 2 or 3 in the same, or I guess I'm going to say they did 2 days of weddings, and all 3 weddings were on one day, 2 weddings were on a one day, and they were at the same venue because there are 5 couples this season. Ugh. Okay, so let me see what I recall from Derek and Katie. DK, that's what I call it, DK. Derek is really handsome. He's tall, he has dark hair, he has a beautiful smile, and he just seems very boy next door. I really liked him first impression. He has support. It was funny because I thought that Derek and Katie's father, Dante, looked like they could be related. I thought that was funny. But Katie seems very whimsical to me. While she's grounded in some places, I think she may be putting the cart before the horse. She's in a rush to get married, and I think she's also making a rash decision based on a previous relationship. The reason that I say that is because we find out right before her ceremony, she expresses that there is an ex that is trying to win her back, and he doesn't want her to get married, and he's like, don't do it. And she's still on the fence, even though she's going through with it. I don't know what that's about. But the first impression, I don't know what to say about them, because he's a very hopeful dreamer type. He just sees all the possibilities, and she's very almost kind of opposite of that. I don't know what's going to trigger or ignite that them repelling each other, but something's gonna give. Brandon and Taylor. Okay, Brandon gave me really awkward vibe. Brandon, he was very monotone, although he was saying that he was into her, she was interested. I think it was funny how I'm sure us as viewers, at least myself, we felt that there was some awkward exchange. And surprisingly, Taylor felt the same way. She's like, I'm not sure if he's into me. I don't know if he finds me attractive. He says he does, but he seemed to light up when she told him about her gaming consoles. I know she said she had an Xbox and she had another gaming console, so he was interested in that. I just didn't like how he spoke and wanted to appear as if, I don't know if he just wanted to seem calm, cool, and collected, but it came off very awkward. Taylor's very bubbly. I think she has an awesome personality. Taylor's mother was not with the BS. Like, she's very skeptical. She was like, look, I'm not into this, and you family now, but, you know, hopefully, you know, we can become friends. That's still up in the air. And did you all look at her face when he grabbed the cake? And she was looking like, I'm so not impressed. Now, I thought that was very spontaneous and fun. I thought that was fun of him to do. I only wish that he would have grabbed from the bottom tier, because the top tier, not that they're going to make it that long. I shouldn't say that. We don't know. But the top tier is to be frozen and saved for your 1-year anniversary. And yes, I am speaking from experience. I did it. The cake still tastes good. I had an Italian rum cake for mine. But yeah, I think he seemed later on, like after they got to the reception and things like that, he kind of relaxed and he looked a lot more comfortable. But in the beginning, he just gave me the most awkward vibes ever. Mindy and Zach, oh my goodness, she is like, I'm just going to describe her as Acid Betty. Maybe it was her nerves, but she was very, very mixed emotions. She was really jittery, but then there was this kind of melancholy angst about her because her parents basically didn't support the project or the notion of her getting married in this prearranged situation. And so they didn't come to her wedding. No family members except for her sister. She came through in the clutch, Taj. I thought Taj was just absolutely beautiful. They looked like they could be like fraternal twins. They looked a lot alike. I love the poem that Taj read at the ceremony when she was going through, right before she walked down the aisle. I know I'm not going in order, but when she was right before she was getting ready to walk down the aisle, she was just so nervous. She was like, I'm ready, I'm this, I'm like, eeh. I was like, girl, breathe. But Zach is very attractive. Yeah, he's really into his hair. He just seems like one of those that will woo you to no end and get you all twisted up in the game. And then once he knows he has you, he will emotionally release you into this spiraling emotional black hole. And I'm saying that from a woman's perspective because I thought he was very suave. I loved the vow thing. I thought that was very suave. And I'm choosing my words. I'm choosing my words appropriately when he said, with that being said, and then he got down on one knee and asked her to marry him. I'm not one that is easily, oh, I'm always I'm just waiting for whatever to come. You know, I'm that kind of girl. But it was cute nonetheless. Another thing that got me, he was giving those answers when she was talking. He's like, right, sure. I was like, are you kidding me? It just sounded very office conversation. I know I thought he was very respectful and he let her speak her thoughts, but his responses were just very office etiquette. Then we have Michael and Mika. Okay, first impression, I thought that Michael was a very humble person. His mom auntie, described him as very sensitive. He didn't give me that he was sensitive, but he did give me that he was an even-tempered person. He's not easily excited, as opposed to Mika, where, I mean, she was just on the ledge and somebody had to talk her off. She's like, my dress is too big. Like, what am I going to do? It's like all big up here. And then if it doesn't go exactly the way I want it to, and I'm not happy and I don't like it, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Mika, girl, it's okay. But come to find out, I guess Michael might not be what he appears to be in the front of the camera, but we'll get to that later. As far as their wedding, I thought their wedding was really nice. Mika looks like her mother's twin. I thought that was awesome. And she was just very... She was giving me half glass empty. I think it was her nerves, though. I think she was just really jittery. I don't know. But she was giving me half glass empty. And he was always having to come back and reassure her. But, you know, we got through the tough part. So this part is just a piece of cake. And she's like, you know, I guess you're right. I'm glad you see it that way. But I think later on she's going to call him out and give him the business we come to see later on, coming on this episode, which I gotta make sure I go and watch. And then lastly, Jessica and Austin. I'm gonna be honest, I had to watch theirs twice. Like, no, I had to watch it 3 times because I fell asleep on it the first time. Second time I watched it, but I was like, then the third time I was like, okay, I had to get... Jessica's an acquired taste as far as I'm concerned. She is just too goofy for me. She is really goofy. Like, she's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I don't know, like, is she trying to say woo, woo, woo? But she was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I could do without it. But I did love the engagement between her and Austin's niece. A little cute, sweet little baby. Oh, I love the little babies. That's probably because I don't have any, and I want to keep it that way. But yeah, I thought Austin's family was really, really nice and welcoming, and I thought that let's talk about some really cringe-worthy moments. Katie's friend. I don't know if that's a friend, a family member, or what, but she kept talking about, you got to bring, what she was saying, the fire. She was talking about sex, and they kept having to bleep her out, and it was like, girl, like, you're doing too much. But I just felt like it was inappropriate, but I guess she was turning up for the cameras, or I know what it was. It was the alcohol, because she was clearly intoxicated. But we come to find out later on that they ignited the fire on the honeymoon. Yeah. So right now, my first impressions, Katie, she has skeletons in her closet, so she lost points. Derek right now, so far, he's in the clear with me. His mother came all the way from Uruguay. I said it right. I grew up saying Uruguay, but Uruguay? Okay. And I thought that was really awesome and loving, a mother's love, right? Brandon and Taylor. Taylor, she got my points. Brandon missed me with that first impression. I was like, I don't like it. Mindy and Zach. Mindy, I just want to give her a hug. I just want to give her a hug. Zach, I want to take his brush and his blow dryer away from him for a week and see how he does. Yes, the whole week, not a day, not 7, because he loves his hair too much. Could you imagine somebody like Zach starting to prematurely bald or get a receding hairline? Oh my God, he would be getting those plugs ASAP. Michael and Mika. Mika was freaking me out. The whole time I was watching, I was like, girl, it's not that serious. And Michael, I was just sitting back and I was like, I just want to put my finger on it. I just want to put my finger on it. It's anybody, see, in my personal experience in relationships, people like Michael with that demeanor, and I'm thinking of a specific relationship, it's a facade. And I'm waiting for him to show who he really is. It's a facade. But I could deal with Mika because Mika was being genuine. Like, these are characteristics of her. So I could deal with that because there were some things about her that I could that resonated with me. I could relate to. I can be a little A-type sometimes and just be like, oh my gosh, one thing, and it's like everything's gone to hoo-ha. So, but Michael, I'm waiting for him to show his true self too. Austin and Jessica. I think Austin is a true mama's boy. But he's very family oriented. Family means a lot to him, and I love that about him. Jessica, I just want her to take something to just bring her down. Maybe tonight I'll see something else, but right now she was just giving me too much. So that is my first impressions of all the couples for season 10 of Married at First Sight. Please leave your comments down below in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. It's a love offering that's free. Please don't forget to share this video. And most importantly, subscribe. Oh, my voice is back. I love it. So rate, comment, share, subscribe. If I remember, I'll leave my social media links below. But my Twitter is the same, Ronnie P TV. My Instagram is just me, Ronnie, as of now. Again, thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, bye.